Good evening, everyone. David Paul here in the KHOU 11 Weather Center. It's Thursday evening. Second January in a row where we're facing a significant winter weather event. Last year around this time we had that big snow. Man, if you were here for that, that's as good a snow day as we ever get in Houston. Several inches of white, fluffy snow. Fun to play on. You could drive around on it if you needed to. Bridges were a little slippery, but it wasn't that bad. It was snow. Ice is a whole different animal. And that's what we're facing this go around with an icy mix forecast for Saturday night into Sunday. And that ice will come mainly in the form of freezing rain. That's the no fun stuff that makes travel impossible and can, if we get enough of it, bring down limbs and cause power outage issues. This is the weekend in a nutshell. Saturday, rain and maybe even a thunderstorm, and temps will drop but stay above freezing in general on Saturday. After midnight, Saturday night into Sunday morning, icing becomes a threat even in the immediate Houston metro area, and that, if it occurs, is going to cause huge travel issues, maybe some power issues. That's what we're looking at. And then it gets really cold Sunday night into Monday. We'll look at that as well in just a moment. Where's the cold air? Well, yesterday we had two boundaries. They've kind of coagulated into one. That's the leading edge of the bitter cold air. And you can see, North Platte, Nebraska is at the freezing mark 32, and then it's 10 Rapid City and 13 below Bismarck. So there's your really cold air back here. Chicago's at a balmy 18 degrees. It's 9 below Minneapolis. International Falls is 24 below. We're 62 down here in Houston. Don't we have it good? Zooming out. Let's see. Prince Albert's 22 below. Yellowknife 27 below. Kuglucktuk's only 11 below. The coldest air has begun to move south of Kuglucktuk, and it's heading right down the front range of the Rockies into the Central Plains, and we are in its way. It's going to come all the way down here. And this is one of those rare times, it's relatively rare, to get cold air coinciding with an upper level disturbance coming out of the Pacific that has energy and moisture with it. So moisture and cold air enough to cause freezing temps and freezing precip in Houston in winter is rare, especially on this level, but we're going to get it. Let's walk through it. Friday night. 11:30 in the evening. We've had a relatively warm day. We'll have a line of thunderstorms developing in central Texas, all liquid, all the green and yellow and orange, all liquid. We'll go into Friday night into Saturday morning, 6:30 Saturday morning. So it rains Friday night through to near sunrise on Saturday morning. This is all liquid. That's a thunderstorm possible. We could hear some claps of thunder as this first opening salvo of weather comes in Friday night into Saturday morning. The pink is where we may have a frozen mix. And at this point, it looks like north of College Station, north of Huntsville, north of Madisonville, a frozen mix. But temperatures will be borderline, I think, above freezing. I think this may be wet bulbing the computer's picking up on. So I don't think this is going to cause any significant problems right here. Further north to Dallas, they'll already have icing issues. But for we here in Southeast Texas, this is the setup Saturday morning. Rain and thunder and liquid, so no problems on the roads. Saturday, 9:30 in the morning, rain and thunder racing east. Big line of thunderstorms may push off the coast around 9:30. Could be some thunderstorms and some weather down in Galveston, but it's all rain and stormy. It's liquid. Huntsville, 39. Livingston, model showing 32. So right there on the edge of freezing, but it just skirts the northern counties, and then that exits quickly. So by 11:30 noon Saturday, first round of rain is gone, and we're quiet. But what will happen is, in the wake of that first round, it will open the door to this push of Arctic air to head south. So between noon on Saturday and Saturday 9 p.m., 9 p.m. Saturday, that's when things redevelop, but the cold air now is in place. So this is now freezing rain, Brenham, College Station, Huntsville, while we're cold and a little drizzly here in Harris County at 9 p.m. Saturday night. By the time we get to 3:30 Sunday morning, the freezing temps have gotten into Harris County, especially northwest Harris County. We're going to get a lot of reports of freezing rain and sleet going through the wee morning hours of Sunday. Hopefully you're just tucked into bed. But 23 College Station, 25 Huntsville, Conroe 29, Tomball 31 could see significant icing as we go into the wee hours of Sunday morning if this high-resolution model, which just updated, verifies. We had a run earlier that was mostly liquid. Now it's coming in a little colder. 8 a.m. Sunday, still a chance for sleet and freezing rain going through 8 a.m. Sunday. And then that exits, and that will bring the icing threat to an end, it appears. But by that time, if that verifies, we're going to have a lot of ice on bridges and overpasses, and travel will just be a no-go in most of Houston and southeast Texas. We'll have to wait and see if it's enough ice to cause problems for tree limbs and power. So let's talk about that. What does it take to cause issues with tree limbs and power lines? Well, if we get a trace of ice to a 1/4 inch of ice accumulating on the power lines or on the tree limbs, that causes dangerous travel but minimal power issues. That's just not quite enough to cause widespread limbs down and power lines down. And I think that's the scenario that we're most likely facing, but hang in there. So let's just skip to where problems really start. Over 3/4 of an inch of ice accumulating on power lines and branches, you get widespread tree damage. The weight snaps the limbs. They come down on the power lines. The power lines themselves can get too heavy for the poles to develop, to hang on to, and you get widespread power outages at 3/4 of an inch or more. So what are we forecast to get? Take this with a grain of salt. So heavy ice, Dallas to the Arklatex. That's an inch or more. They've got serious issues coming up here. Zooming in, this just updated. Models are saying about 1/10 of an inch of ice. Houston, maybe a little more than 1/10 up toward Huntsville. That would put us in the range where issues with limbs coming down and power outages are minimal. This is a wonderful scenario for Houston. We want this to pan out. We want just a little bit of ice. That would be great, because you get just a little further north to Palestine, and you get 3/4 inch accumulation on power lines, on roadways, bridges, overpasses, and tree limbs, and you've got a huge winter storm mess. Even at a 1/2 inch, it really starts getting dicey. So this is why we're so concerned, because although we may just miss the heavier icing, it's so close to our area that we have to watch this forecast like a hawk and take it seriously. So that's where we stand. We're basically on the edge of a huge ice storm here in Houston. That's the forecast as it stands right now. Winter storm warning in effect from Kentucky, Tennessee, all the way to Big Bend in Texas. Just a tremendous amount of area under a winter storm warning. And they're going to get it in the Virginias and into D.C. and New York. They're under a watch right now. That'll be expanded into a warning. So this storm is just going to impact a huge swath of the south central and then eastern and northeastern United States. This is a big one. And ice accumulations across central and north Texas could easily exceed an inch. Don't go up here this weekend. Do not drive, do not go up here. I-45 north, you get north of Madisonville, they're going to have so many closures, and I-35 corridor a mess. I-20, no. Just stay home this weekend. That really is the best thing to do. Officially, we're under a winter storm watch. That means light to moderate icing is possible Saturday through Sunday. Power outage threat is there. And you saw the details on how close we are to a serious event versus a not so serious event. And we just don't exactly know how it's going to play out. Let's talk about the wind and the cold. So here we are going into Saturday, early morning, Saturday morning. We've got that rain coming through. It's an east wind, 10 to 15. Low pressure at the surface forming here. See that right there, that well-defined edge? So that will be the leading edge of some of the colder air coming in. But it won't be until that low scoots across to the south and we go from an east wind to a north wind on the backside of that counterclockwise rotation. Then we get the north wind coming in. So the rain exits, and then that's the north wind coming in. That's what's going to pull in the cold air, freezing air as we head through the afternoon and evening and Saturday and overnight. So we're going to have a wind chill factor with this. Sustained winds 15 to 20, gusting to 25. Saturday at 6 p.m., feeling like 40 in Pearland, feeling like 19 in College Station. Big contrast across the area. Cold air sweeps off the coast by Sunday morning. Feeling like 24 degrees at Bush, feeling like 18 Conroe, feeling like 11 College Station. If you have to get outside, bundle up in layers, cover exposed skin. This is why we have this cold weather watch in effect, because of the potential for wind chill factors to get between 5 and 15 degrees. That's the threshold for the cold weather warning. 15 is the forecast wind chill in Pearland Monday morning. Monday morning's the coldest morning. Precip's gone. We're clear, but still windy and cold. West Columbia feeling like 13. Galveston feeling like 19. Huntsville feeling like 4 degrees Monday morning. If we still have wet roads, we get a refreeze. We could still see some icy bridges and overpasses Monday morning. After that, the sun's going to come out and everything should clear up Monday afternoon. But that's why we have the extreme cold watch in effect for all of southeast Texas. Big picture, huge swath of ice. That's the thing. This isn't a snowstorm, it's an ice storm. So many folks impacted by this, and along the way here, you'll have some areas that get an inch or two of ice, and that will bring down the power lines, and that causes your life-threatening situation if you have young ones or you need power and you don't have it. And it's bitterly cold. Outside right now, we're in the 60s. It's a quiet evening, you know, and here's a good lesson on forecasting. We were forecasting 75 and sunshine today. Not even close. Stayed cloudy all day, had some drizzle. We made it to highs in the 60s. So modeling right now is dicey at best. So all the forecasting I'm showing you remains with a higher than normal amount of uncertainty. Just kind of have to play along. Radar's quiet, but we can now see our brewing winter storm. Notice the counterclockwise rotation of the clouds out here just to the west of Southern California. They've got some rain coming in on the upslope side. That's the brewing storm that will come across the deep south and move in here and hook up with the cold air. Tomorrow, 62 in the morning, 66 in the afternoon. A lot like it was today. Cloudy, 30% chance for some rain. Great day to finish your preps. And then it's a weather impact alert for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Again, Sunday, the first half of the day looks like the iciest part, if we're going to get it. And then the hard freeze Monday morning will come with sunshine. So we're bitter cold Monday morning, but then the sun gets us to 40. And that is expected to evaporate and melt and get all the moisture off the road. So even though we're cold Tuesday morning at 24, we're not expecting refreeze Tuesday morning, but Monday morning we are. That could make travel in the morning on Monday not safe. And we rebound as we go into Wednesday, partly cloudy, 30s and 50s by Thursday. That is where we stand. Have a good evening, everybody.